And GUTA, that's the Ghana Union of Traders Association. You know that we have new tax handles now. So these revenue acts or these taxes are supposed to make sure we have enough revenue to show up and create that space for us. So already we're before the IMF. We've been given that assurance by the finance minister. End of May, we should get it. So this is what GUTA decided to send. They said in a meeting, 20th April, the Joint Business Consultative Forum expressed its displeasure at the president's assent to the 3 newly introduced taxes. Now, they said the forum will not relent until the right things are done to improve the business environment and then also protect businesses in Ghana. And they are raising these concerns because they have had difficulties with the tax itself, and as far as we're related. At that meeting, we had the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Ghana Union of Traders, that's GUTA, importers and exporters. We have food and beverage. All of them have been affected. Freight forwarders. So the only pour out I haven't seen the financial houses as well as the telecom companies because they are involved in this. Now, wow. They said, President, listen. President will not listen. I'm told this is an IMF. Well, the speculation is that this is an IMF conditionality.
I think we don't really need an IMF to expand our tax net because we cannot borrow ourselves to progress. That is
We're
not
taxing
really
the same people. That's the problem.
Yes, I'm coming there. I think there's no tax measure that is pleasant to anyone in the world. Any tax that you introduce, there's no way in the world that you introduce a tax and people will be happy and accept it wholeheartedly. At this point in time, you remember when we came in, we abolished 17 taxes, when we call them 17 nuisance taxes and levies, because we promised to move from taxation to production. And we really...
You said we promised ourselves?
Yes, as a government.
So have we moved on to production?
Yes, that was the reason we introduced the one district, one factory, so that we do a lot of production. Then we shift away from taxation. And when you check between 2017 and 2019, we did not introduce a single tax measure aside the abolition of the 17 nuisance taxes. Between 2020 and today, we've introduced a couple of them. These new ones are not really new taxes. They are only an amendment to already existing taxes to cover some other commodities and some other people, so that we're able to really generate a lot of resources to be able to...
growth and sustainability one is
exactly. Yes.
With the exception of the other one, which
it's the Fiscal Responsibility Act that was really reintroduced as the growth and development sustainability. Yes. When you check, it's also not really a new one. It's been there, and it was really...
The fiscal responsibility is a different act altogether that enables government to ensure that by the act it's enjoined to cap its expenditure 5%.
Yes, so we'll have to take that one off because at this point in time you cannot really stick to it because of the debt levels and other things.
Now the traders are up in arms. Yes. How would you respond?
So what I'm saying is that when you check our taxes, there's no single government, even the NDC, no political party that has really brought out manifesto to say that we will not expand the tax net. We always say it, that we will expand the tax net. How we can expand the tax net is through these taxations and so on. And if you check the tax to GDP ratio, almost about 50% of that amount goes to compensation alone, and the rest goes into interest payment and so on. So it means effectively in this country, we're doing only 13% of tax to GDP ratio, which is way below even the African or the sub-region average, which is around 18 to 20%. So at least these are measures that will help us, because we cannot really continue borrowing. We'll have to generate internal funds so that we're able to. So I can only tell them that, well, it is a tax measure that has come, and at this point in time, we'll have to take the bitter pill by trying to at least conform and see how best to be able to really resuscitate our economy. Don't forget that the president has been honest enough to tell the people of this country that the economy is in crisis. And if the economy is in crisis, how do you resuscitate it? We cannot use borrowing.
But you're taxing the same people. That's
we
the problem.
cannot use the borrowing.
You think if you check
a tax on tobacco,
government has walked the talk of
a tax on tobacco is not really taxing the same people. At least it trickles down to the consumer and so on. So a lot of the consumers are also affected. It's not really about the businesses alone or those who are doing it. Consumers are affected. Liquor and other things are also involved and so on. So definitely we cannot really say that all taxes will be accepted by this government. But bear with this government, because when we came between 2017 and 2020, we did not introduce any new tax. But this point in time, we think that it's expedient that we do that so that at least we're able to resuscitate our economy.
Okay. DJ, the traders are not happy. They said we should bed in share. You remember when the finance minister said we won't go to the IMF, he said that we're a proud nation and that once we're all willing to bed in share. So we should bed in share.
You see, the reason why it has become extremely difficult for these organized groups to give any form of concession to this reckless Akufo-Addo administration is simply because Akufo-Addo has not been truthful to the people of this country. Look, at the time of austerity, this government had decided to increase its overall expenditure in the 2023 budget to 205 billion Ghana cedis. A year ago, they were doing around 149 billion. So if you are saying there is austerity, this is the time for people to see you cutting down on your expenditure. First of all, you are saying that we should burden share. You are telling the people that tighten your belt, right? At least you must demonstrate leadership by showing that you even have a belt hole, correct? The man telling you to burden share does not even have a belt hole. So there is no leadership. People don't see Akufo-Addo being honest. It is the level of dishonesty, the fact of how he has destroyed this country, destroyed the economy of this country. That is why it is extremely difficult for the likes of GUTA, AGI, and the rest to give more.
You are saying that the president is not showing by example.
No, and I say this because if you look at the various tax revenue that we've given to this administration, we don't need this tax handle. Do you know why?
Ideally.
Yes.
Okay.
In 2022, just last year, oil alone gave us $1.4 billion. The windfall, simply because of the increases in the price of crude oil alone, is more than the $4 billion these three tax handles will give you. So if you look at the real workings, government doesn't need these three tax handles. In fact, what these three tax handles are going to do rather is that it is going to increase the cost of production. And you know what?
And price consumers out of. And then increase operational costs.
And businesses are going to pass it on to you and I. As we speak, the IMF regional report on Ghana show that as we speak today, we have only less than 3 weeks of import cover. We are in a very precarious situation.
That. Very serious.
Just 3 weeks.
Have you read that as well?
2.
Yeah.
We are in a mess.
A precarious situation. That's what was used by the analysts.
Yes, and you expect that the people leading the conversation will be honest to the people. If at this critical moment, your solution is more taxes. Look, where is Dr. Bawumia? How come that he's not manning up? The very words he used was in opposition, that we are going to move this economy from production, in fact, from taxation to production. And what has happened?
Well, I have explained that we have
Dr.
taxes than introduction.
Mahmoud Bawumia has a responsibility to the people who believe in his hype, to apologize to the people of this country. I mean, to even think that this man has the thinking that he can even be the leader of this country.
I know you'll get there.
It's regrettable. Because you see, Roland, the painful part is that, you see, you make a certain representation to electorates that I am going to move this economy, the Gordgesburg economy. I will transform it in 18 months.
That was done.
6 months, 6 years down the line, you have destroyed the economy. You have not even transformed it. You have destroyed it. Look at the reports on Ghana. Look at Akufo-Addo's scorecard, his terminal report on the economy, with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the chair of the economic management team. Clearly, Dr. Bawumia has not demonstrated that he has what it takes to lead. Why? His hype men, and I'm sure my brother, given the time, will do it. That, Dr. Bawumia is not in charge of the economy.
Who said that?
I have listened to Arnaud Dompré. Arnaud Dompré makes the point
he didn't say
that Bawumia, and that it is Alan who is the chair of a cabinet committee on the economy. And so, if you want anybody to blame for the current state of the economy, it should be Alan and not Bawumia. Have you not listened to Arnaud Dompré?
I listen to him myself.
Yes,
yeah.
and so when you have a situation where people are providing firewalls for this incompetent, reckless vice president, chatterbox of a vice president, then the conversation now is reduced to dishonesty. And I'm saying that he should man up. My brother is talking, and you see, let me expose this false claim that my brother makes, that when they came, they abolished 17 taxes. You see, you know what they do? They'll pick one tax handle. If it's on several items.
Like VAT?
Like VAT.
So
then
real
they'll say,
estate.
yes. And then they say they've abolished 17 taxes. Well, please respect the intelligence
So
of
did we abolish them?
Do you know what they have done? Whereas they are telling you that they have abolished, if you look at the quantum of taxes coming from that particular tax handle, it is nothing to write home about. They are targeted.
They are not mass.
No. The one that brings more money to them, they are still in existence. And they are taking more money. Look, let me just run you through this briefly. In 2017 alone, these guys made 33 billion by way of tax revenue. 2018, 39 billion. 2019, 45 billion. 2020, 47 billion. 2021, 57 billion. 2022, 75 billion Ghana cedis. Overall, in 6 years, they have done 298 billion in tax revenue alone. Wow. You have taken more money from people's pockets and you say you have abolished. Okay. What have you abolished? What has been the impact of the taxes that you have abolished? That is how you do the comparative analysis. You've taken more money from people's pockets, people's savings, to the point that even your Momo wallet, you have decided notoriously to even tax people's Momo.
When do you say notoriously?
Have you ever seen?
How do you use words like that?
No, have you ever seen anywhere in the world where people's savings is taxed?
No, it is the transaction that is taxed.
No,
and
it
not
is
the
the
savings.
savings.
With your money in your Momo account, who taxed the money in your Momo account?
No fight.
But you see,
where did you come up with? I have this one. No, it's okay. Please end for me.
The money. If
I have this one from Sampi Yale. Sampi Yale says, "Awa, your batakari is nice, but your words are not nice at all. Aren't you such a nice person to use such language?" I have Ali Fofana. He says the MPP has chopped all the meat without even forgetting to leave the bones for the people to lick.
Roland.
And then Faisal Yakubu says it's a lie that 17 taxes were abolished by the MPP government. What they have abolished were tax items and not the taxes themselves. Kofi Asante says the issue of Galamsey sums up the character of Ghanaians. Laying the blame at the doorstep of one person is to chip in the argument. What were the chiefs, assemblymen, DCs, the police, and the young men in Ghana thinking and doing when the river bodies in Ghana were being destroyed? Danny, I read it.
By blaming everybody. So why then do we need him as a leader? Then you should go, let the youth leaders in the various communities take over the leadership of this country. But you see,
Legal practitioner.
No, Roland.
Aren't you having court today?
No, look at this report.
Awa Mohammed, Charlie. They go office.